Well, apparently she missed my call. It was a lady who was completely infatuated with my friend Brett. Brett's really a good dude. He's a meth addict, but he's not a bad person. And I have seen women go completely goo goo crazy over the dude. Now, it's socially acceptable that way. It's socially acceptable when a woman does it. A man should just get over it. A woman has every right to stalk a man. And I get to see the difference between men and women on Facebook every day and in real life. How the rules are different if you're a woman. How a woman expects to be treated different, but wants the same rights as a man. A woman, when she's attracted to a good looking feller, that's okay, right? Of course it is. It's okay for you to be attracted to whoever the fuck you are attracted to. It's not against the law to find somebody attractive. But then you've got people who find it offensive when you find them attractive. Or they want to pretend when they do fucked up shit that you're the bad guy because you did fucked up shit because you find them attractive. Whether you find them attractive or not, whether you did fucked up shit or not, it's your fault. It's your fault that she stalked you. It's your fault that she stalked your friend. It's your fault that she lied about you. It's your fault that her and her friends ganged up on you. It's your fault because you have a penis. Most of the women that are posting up this stuff, and I want you guys to look at your Facebooks, look at your Facebook friends, the ones who complain the most about how men are pigs. I want you to look at how many Jason Momoa pictures they have up there. I want you to look at how many pictures of Johnny Depp that they post up there. I want you to look at how many pictures of half naked firemen they post up. I want you to take a look at that. How many times they say they need dick. There's a woman named Victoria. She lives in her vehicle with her daughter in Colorado. And I like Victoria. I want her to have a safe place, a safe environment for her and her daughter. But she got pissed off at a man for saying hello. She also got pissed off at a guy for saying that she's cute. Now, between the two of those, I can understand the cute one. I mean, here he is. He's being superficial and he's getting a hold of her because he finds her attractive and she finds that offensive. But then again, she finds all sorts of stuff offensive that she does every day. Every day she posts up at least one post about needing some dick. Now, it's all right for a woman to want to have sex. It's all right for her to actually have sex. But then you look at the situation with me. I didn't have any interest in having sex with Natalie. She was getting fucked up on drugs and having sex with her own dad. She was having sex with Tim Beeson. She was having sex with multiple partners. And that's okay for her. But when she did fucked up shit and her friends joined in, what did they do? They started jumping for the sex thing. Oh, it's about sex. It's about sex. It's about sex. No, it's fucking not. For you, it's about sex. For you, it is about drugs and it is about sex. And when you do fucked up shit to me, you pretend it's about drugs and sex. That message that I had up here from Tim Beeson a while back, yeah, it's still up. You guys can still go back and take a look at it. That was the very first message that Tim sent me. The very first one. Calling me a child molester and accusing me of being on drugs. That was his very first message to me. See, it was because of that shit by Tim Beeson and many others like him that I was harassing Natalie. And yes, I was harassing Natalie. I was harassing her to call off the dogs, to tell the fucking truth. When she threatened me with the police, I told her to give them my fucking number and have them call me. As far as an advocate goes, like I've been trying to get an advocate since well before Natalie was killed. Shauna Sinclair, she was one of the people that I contacted to try to help getting an advocate. At the time, her daughter's dad had stolen her daughter. And when I made that post about her daughter missing, what happened? That's right, Natalie's mother got on there. Instead of trying to help find her daughter, she was busy harassing me. See, it took a lot of harassment for me to get a hold of Natalie. I wanted to be done with those people when I left Virginia. I was finished with that. I already know that when somebody is fucked up on drugs like that, and they do fucked up shit like what Natalie and Alicia did in Virginia, yeah, fucking, you need to leave the situation. And I left the situation. A lot of people, they keep repeating this, you need to stop living in the past bullshit. With all due respect, that would be nice. Without my disability money, I couldn't defend myself. Without my disability money, I was stuck in places where I was being victimized. I had to trust complete strangers and live with complete strangers and people with a history of abusing me. Not all abuse is physical. Not all abuse is sexual. When somebody takes advantage of your situation because they want free money, that is taking advantage. They took advantage of my situation. They made empty promises until my money was gone. It was entirely inappropriate at every fucking juncture for the police to do the things that they did. And if I'd have had an advocate, they would have never gotten away with doing those things. If I had been able to get Jeff Ritter to do his job, or Kara Heller to do her job, or Nicole Peralta, Natalie might still be alive. If I could have gotten the police to do their jobs, but all of these people, they're after free fucking money. And when it all comes down to it, nothing's free. You guys paid for all of this. You guys paid for me to be assaulted. You guys paid for me to be ignored. You paid the sheriff to not do his job here in Chapel, Nebraska. You paid him to do that. I needed an advocate to go in with me so that these police officers couldn't do the things that they did. I'm not allowed to be frustrated. Meanwhile, these people get a tiny taste of what I've been through, and they get all sorts of flustered and frustrated and pissed off, don't they? It's okay for them, but it's not okay for me. Isn't that right? It's okay for them to assault me repeatedly, to threaten my life over and over and over again, to have their friends get involved in taking part in this. But there's not a goddamn thing I can do, is there? Now, I'm not going to pretend I didn't break the law. I did. I broke the law because I had to. But at the same time, those protection orders, they're all illegal. None of that was in those jurisdictions. None of it. That protection order between me and Natalie. First of all, she lied outright across the board on that piece of shit. And second of all, none of that happened in the county that she fucking filed in. None of it. Meanwhile, I couldn't even go to that. I didn't have an advocate. I didn't have the ability to collect evidence. I had zero fucking help. I had empty fucking words and empty promises. I had to wait on Jeff Ritter to get off of his fucking Christmas break. When did he get off of Christmas break? After Natalie got a bullet in her fucking head. Is that my fault? You guys keep saying that I chose this. I don't choose for these people that you're paying to fleece you for your fucking tax dollars. Every fucking time that I spoke to a police officer, every time, both before and after Natalie was killed, it should have been recorded. Places like Clearview, those places need to have audio cameras as well, not just video, but audio. And they claim that they don't have audio for our protection. No, they don't have audio so they can get away with doing the things that they did. That man that they killed in Clearview, the very same things that they did to that man that killed him, they did to me. Across the United States, across the entire fucking country, they did that to me. I shouldn't have had to flee the state of Colorado for my own protection. A lot of this help that people wanted to give, they claimed that they were going to. They never fucking kept their word. I invested my time and my resources and fucking dealt with the fact that they would only text with me over and over and over. And every time they take something wrong and want to have a fucking shitty assumption and type to me about it, like, fuck, call me, talk to me like I'm a human being, pretend for 5 fucking minutes that I'm a human being. And then it got to the point where it wasn't just 5 minutes. Me and Natalie could have hashed all this out like adults in Virginia by doing what it is that Natalie wanted to do, which is one on one conversation with me. But her sister wasn't having it. Her and her sister were fighting over a boy in Virginia. What the fuck does that have to do with me? Why does them fighting over a boy, why does that mean that me and Natalie can't have one on one conversation? Me and Alicia had lots of one on one conversations while I was there. She kept inviting me over whenever she had a cigarette break. She messaged me and invited me over to have a cigarette with her. When she had her lunch breaks, she called me and had me come over and hang out with her on her lunch break. Does that sound like stalking? Does it? Before Natalie was killed, police did a lot of fucked up shit. They didn't do their fucking jobs. They outright broke the law repeatedly. But it's okay, isn't it? Because you call me mentally ill, and it means that everything that I say must be a lie. It means that I must have had it coming. I must have wanted it, needed it, chose it, or it fucking deserved it, or it never happened. Now, me, I got lucky. I'm a dude. At the age of 13, people stopped raping me, stopped sexually molesting me. At the age of 13. A lot of these women, they will be raped. For the rest of their lives, they will have to deal with that. And being too afraid to come forward because the first few times that it happened, when they tried to come forward, oh, you're mentally ill, you're mentally ill, you're mentally ill. And after that, they realize they just have to take it. And they shouldn't have to take it. People know who it is that they can get away with victimizing and why. You know that that pretty girl that you have a crush on, that you wouldn't marry, you wouldn't date her, and she doesn't want to have anything to do with you, but you know that she's in a fucked up position. She's homeless because of the tag mentally ill. And you know that you can rape her and just say, oh, well, she's mentally ill. She's obviously making it up. She's mentally ill. And you prey on that. And the Boulder police aren't going to take a fucking report. She's mentally ill. With Teresa Mycelia when she was raped, that was such a fucked up situation. They charged her with a crime for fighting back against her assailant, against her rapist. She fought back and they charged her with a crime, but not him. With Christie, it was exactly the opposite. They claimed that she didn't fight back enough. Reporting. It's obviously not rape. You didn't fight back enough. How fucked up is that? Meanwhile, this woman is going to school. She has children. She had to flee the state of Colorado, same as me. That's the thing that none of these people wanted to pay any attention to. The mentally ill tag. That tag means that police officers can rape you too. Like that officer in Arapahoe County who raped a mentally ill woman on the hood of his vehicle. That's so fucking gross. Now, I want you to imagine how many of those people that are officers that got away with this, that are caught on camera, and it is blatantly obvious to everyone, and somehow their internal affairs goes, oh, well, that's okay. Now I want you to imagine how many times those officers were smart enough to turn off their body cameras when they raped somebody. How many times in the United States last year alone? Last year there were over 400 charges against officers for rape. And you say, oh, well, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. That's only 400 of them. No, that's 400 of them that somebody would actually take a report. That's 400 instances where the cops, instead of doing what it is that they usually do, which is threaten the person who was raped and arrest them and do everything in their power to tag them as mentally ill so that everything that they did is justified, so that they can protect their buddies. Because they just assumed that their buddy wouldn't do a thing like that. Oh, he'd never do a thing like that. We gave him a badge. He's perfect now. I can guarantee you that it is at least a 10-to-1 ratio of officers getting away with this for every person who tried to turn it in. Tried to turn it in. Most people won't try to turn it in. Most people are too afraid. If the shit that happened to me happened to Laura Nelson and I didn't come forward, she would be fucking pissed. And she would play sympathy over her kids. I have a son. I have a son. I have a son. I know. And before it happens to your son. Because if you don't do anything about it when it happens to others, how do you get to complain when it happens to you? You didn't care when it happened to somebody else, did you? You didn't care when Christy was raped. You didn't care when Teresa was raped. You didn't care when Crystal was raped. And Crystal was raped by a Boulder police officer. Get that through your head. When Crystal assaulted me that day outside of the Boulder Public Library, that was after that shit happened to her. Before that, me and her got along. Where we stopped getting along was when I escorted her to her house and she wanted to kiss me and I wouldn't. I wouldn't cross the threshold. I escorted her to her house and then I left. And she held a grudge because I didn't have sex with her. She felt rejected. I do understand that. It's okay for a woman to do fucked up shit when she feels rejected. It's okay for a woman to destroy a man's life when she feels rejected. And with the way that shit went down, yeah, I have no problems believing that I might have been the boy that Natalie and Alicia were fighting over. Me and Natalie had to wait for Alicia to leave to even talk to each other because Alicia has to be the center of attention somewhere close by, somewhere where her mom could look out the window and see that she was fine. But no, Alicia wanted to go. Meanwhile, I'm getting severely dehydrated sitting in my vehicle at the McDonald's parking lot. Because instead of me and Natalie at 11 o'clock like we had planned, instead we're waiting on road construction and we're waiting on Alicia. You know who it was that drove? That was Alicia Bollinger who drove us to Elliot's Coffee Grounds on my birthday in 2016. Meanwhile, all this stuff happened because Natalie and Alicia didn't want to be honest with their mother. Natalie absolutely should have been honest with her mother. But why would she? Mom, I called him here because I was going to kill myself if he didn't show up because you and Dad were driving me crazy. And my ex-boyfriend was calling me telling me he was going to shoot himself. That's the thing, is that her ex-boyfriend did fucked up shit to her. I didn't. But I was also never allowed to defend myself. I was never allowed to show evidence. Even the last time that I went in there to go talk to the police. Like I had a very limited amount of time to work in. But at least there it was quiet enough that I could actually write some of that down. Very little of it, I didn't have a lot of time. Getting that stuff done here, it's difficult. I make videos for a reason. These are my statements. I make video statements because writing that shit down is a fucking pain in the ass. I need some peace and quiet to do that shit. And I don't have it. Does that make the dude that I'm staying with a terrible person? No, it doesn't. He has to have noise at all points in time. For me, not being able to control that shit, like if I need to make a phone call, I can't just stand up and go turn it off. And he's not going to deal with me turning on and off that stuff all the time. You know how it is when you're in a vehicle and somebody starts fucking with your radio. I'm different, of course, when it comes to my radio. You listen to whatever the fuck you want. It don't matter. Yes, I'll sit there and listen to country for 4 fucking hours while we're on the road from Cheyenne, Wyoming to Washington State. Yeah, I'll listen to that. I don't want to, but I'll listen to it. It's not going to kill me to listen to it. But the fact is, all of these places, all across the United States, especially mental health facilities, They're after your money. That's all they fucking care about. Just like CPS. Free fucking money. That money should be going to healthcare. That money should be going to help these parents to house their kids. Oh, you're not making enough money to keep your kids? You don't have enough money for health insurance? All right, well, the state is going to pay somebody else who is probably a child molester, probably going to abuse your kids, probably not going to treat your child with love. But you know what? We're going to pay those people $74,000 a year. Ah, Hobo Hunter. I love your name, Hobo Hunter. It goes to show the mentality I'm dealing with. And that's the point about free money, is that these parents need help. They need actual help. Now, 80% of child pornography in the United States comes from foster care system. 80% of it. You're going to pay somebody $74,000 a year to make child pornography with somebody else's kid. Somebody who probably does love their kid. And you're going to take that child away. Lovely, Hobo Hunter. It says, name fits the person I am talking to on a mental level. Come and get me, Hobo Hunter. That's the point. You're a coward. You are a coward. Well, I did everything I could to try to get this done in a court of law. You are ring. Huh. Well, that's beautiful, Mr. Hobo Hunter. Let's take a picture of this feller. Ah, you typed it wrong. I'm going to be a grammar Nazi towards you now. I get that a lot. If I don't type it absolutely perfect, then I get some fucking grammar Nazi being a grammar Nazi. So, come on, focus. There we go. All right. And then we'll go over this part here, and we will, let's see. Actually, we'll wait until after. The thing is that this is what we have to deal with your bias. But your bias is given to you. Your bias is given to you by the media. It's given to you by the police. It's given to you by the courts. Homeless people, we don't have any rights. We get railroaded in court. And then all of these fucking pigs all across the United States want to use statistics, doctored statistics from doctored court dates, kangaroo courts. The difference between an honest court date and what happens to us is whether or not somebody goes in with you. Nobody goes in with you, you're free money. But at the same time, it's still not free money. You, as the taxpayers, you pay for this. It takes more money to destroy somebody's life like this than it does to actually help them to get into housing. You victimize the victims in the United States and tell the victims that they wanted it, needed it, chose it, or deserved it. You turn a blind eye to somebody raping a girl because she's, well, mentally ill. She might be bipolar. That doesn't mean that she's schizophrenic. But if she tells on you, you use that. Oh, she's mentally ill. She's mentally ill. She's mentally ill. She's mentally ill. It's mentally disabled. And most of that disability is how you treat them because of the label. God, We got Hobo Hunter over here. Anyone ever notice he doesn't even answer any question? Alright, is this guy fucking mentally retarded? I want to know that. Is he slow in the head? Yes, he is. I'm gonna be a grammar Nazi. He cannot form a proper sentence because he's a fucking idiot. I'm gonna spend my time treating this dude like a fucking jackass. That's what I'm going to do. Hobo Hunter. I mean, that's the name that he chose. This is the kind of mentality that we have to deal with. We have to deal with people who think that it's okay. Now imagine if we replace that word hobo with the N word. That's not okay, is it? You guys would be all over his ass if he did that, wouldn't you? Of course you would. But it's okay because, see, I'm not black. Now, if I was black and homeless, it would still be okay because he's not going after the black part, he's going after the homeless part. What a fucking filthy goddamn cunt rag.